my name is Kristen Day. I am a sophomore in construction engineering, and last summer I did an internship with Commercial Team Construction. A little bit about CTC is that they've been serving the Indianapolis community since 2003. They self-perform a majority of their projects, and they really focus on design-build construction, which is where they do both the designing and the building, and they kind of cut out the middleman, so it creates a single point of contact, and it allows them to deliver the projects faster. They do a lot of new facilities construction and maintenance. They do expansions, renovations, and just general commercial construction. I got to see an overview of their daily processes, and I did a lot of work in the office, but it was really great when I got to go out and see the projects and how they were going. This particular project is called Alliance Park. It's in Greenfield, Indiana, and it's actually two nearly identical buildings. So these two buildings are actually owned by CTC. They were building them to rent out to other businesses for warehouse and management offices. So you can see the one on the right is almost done. It's got some last finishing touches that's got to be done to it. And then the one on the left was pretty much just getting started. You can see in May it was just dirt. They were just putting in the footings then. And then a month or so later they have the steel up. And then a little bit later they've got the concrete flooring in. So it's really cool to see how things can change in that amount of time and just how much progress they can make. I was doing a lot of work in the office, and so I kind of wanted to see what the field would be like, see if that might be a good fit for me. And so they put me on this project called Granite Construction, which is in Plainfield, Indiana. And so the company that owns the whole building was renting out this small section to this business. And they were allowing this business to do renovations to this whole area, letting them do whatever they wanted. And they were even funding a majority of it, which was really interesting to me. So when I was on this project for a couple days, they were doing some carpet pulling, and they were just starting to line up how things were going to frame. So you can see in the top, on the very left side, you can see those two pictures there, before and after, of the same area pulling up carpet. And then you can see in the middle, they've started framing and they've put up some of the stud walls. And then in the third picture, it's kind of hard to see, but they were putting up the drywall and they were doing some finishes there. So it's just really interesting to see how some things come together. So when I was working on the project, I was following the superintendent around. He taught me a lot of things that were really important, like how to measure, how to read the documents and the drawings. And the most important thing I think he taught me was to always ask questions. Because if you're not sure about something and you don't really understand it, always ask. Because if you just assume and you make a mistake like that, it could cost a lot of time and money. And it's just better to ask and have that second kind of support. And it's worth the embarrassment. Another thing that he taught me was that the clients can be very finicky. So if they find out that their office is 6 inches smaller than somebody else's, it's not going to be good. So always double check your measurements. I would say the greatest triumph of working with CTC was probably getting all the phones upgraded. So while I was working in the office, I coordinated with Verizon to get all the old phones in, try to figure out what we had, what we wanted, and try and get that ordered along with new phone cases and things like that. And I had a lot of help in that section of it. And then when the phones finally came in, I started setting up meetings with all the employees to get switched over. And that took a lot of time, and it was a lot of responsibility. Having to meet everybody, and because everyone's case was a little bit different, it was a little frustrating because a lot of people had so much data on their phone. You couldn't back it up, and it just took so much more time to do. But I got it finished in the end, and it all went smoothly. And I packaged them all up, put them in a box, and I took them to the post office and I sent it off. And it was a great experience for me, kind of learning how to be confident in that aspect and kind of confident in my abilities. And it was really great to meet all the employees who aren't usually in the office too, that I don't usually get to see. So it was great to kind of meet the whole team. Some of the lessons I learned, I said this before, But always double check your plans before making a decision. It's so much better to ask and be embarrassed and know the answer than just assume and be wrong. By doing this internship, I was immersed in the construction industry. I was so much more familiar with the terminology. I learned a lot more than I would ever learn I would learn things that I wouldn't learn in the classroom. Like I learned what a pipe bollard was. I didn't know what a pipe bollard was, but now I do. I learned like hairpins and stud walls and lots of different terms as well. I did a lot of work in the office too, so I got to see how everything worked in the background of it, like work orders and change orders, and contacting the subcontractors and things like that. Just kind of having more of a general understanding of how it works, so you can get the bigger picture. A bigger lesson I learned was to take notes and keep a journal, because I have a hard time remembering things. So I always write things down so I can go back and read what I did 3 months ago, so I can see where I was at then and how far I've come since then, things that I didn't know but now I do, and all the times that I learned how to do that. Probably the biggest lesson I learned more than anything was to always double check your lunch orders, make sure you're not forgetting anyone. Every week they'd have a lunch meeting where I would have to go around and I'd get everybody's order, I'd order it, I'd go and pick it up, I'd bring it back, and occasionally I'd miss an order or two. And that wasn't a good situation, so always double check your lunch orders. So that was everything that I learned at my summer internship last summer with Commercial Team Construction, and thank you for watching.